Welcome to T2T Boxing in association with IFL TV and Macklin's Gym Marbella. Here we have main event and Fox Sports host Ben Damon. Thanks for joining us, Ben.
Thanks, Tom.
You're hosting the Professional Boxing Australia card next weekend alongside Daniel Geale, Nigel Benn and Carly Meehan. Big card. Looking forward to that one.
Yeah. What about the stars in the commentary team with those blokes there? A couple of world champions, and Carly, who should have been a world champion, got robbed by Don King, and some really good fights as well. They're trying to promote the Australian title. There's 2 Australian title fights on that card, and both pretty good looking fights as well. And they're hoping to go on with bigger and better cards from here. But we do kick off on Saturday, which should be fantastic. Having a look at those 2 Aussie title fights and seeing a couple of really good boxers in there. Kerry Foley against Joel Casey should be a really nice fight, and Faris Chevellier, no one wants to fight him, and he's come up against Pratap Singh. So yeah, some good fights. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned there as well, trying to promote that Aussie title, and I know that's something that they really want to push through. We've obviously got 2 on this card. Do you think that bringing some, bringing that back to the forefront, where people want to actually fight for that, and there's pride at stake, do you think that's going to raise the level of boxing here in Australia?
Well, I think it has to, yeah, because everyone sort of takes the route of going and fighting for the regional belts, but the Australian title is a big deal. In days gone by, people would fight their whole careers to try and win an Australian title, so if they can try and bring it back to somewhere where it deserves to be, it can only help the domestic boxing scene, and that's got to help our boxers when they do graduate to go overseas. So it'd be good to, over the next weeks, months and years, hopefully with the PBA, ideally we see some really emotional winners of Australian titles who celebrate that victory because of all the greats that have gone before them and won those belts. It's it'd be really nice to see, and we've got 2 of them this weekend, so we'll see how people are when they win it.
Absolutely. I know Kerry was really proud to win the Aussie title, and you're obviously looking to defend it. Not on the PBA card, but there was another Aussie title fight this weekend with Luke Jackson. He got his knockout win over Manakane over in Tasmania.
Yeah, I haven't seen that fight, but he stopped him pretty early, took with a body shot, I believe. A very impressive style of a bloke as well, Luke Jackson, a very sellable guy, and a really serious trainer. I actually interviewed him at the Olympics in London when I was working for Foxtel over there, and dealt with him around the boxing team, and he was, it's really impressive, and you could tell that once he went professional, he was going to throw himself into it. He went back to Tassie, and they were all there to see him. I saw some photos from the event, so really good to see. Yeah,
really focused, and you can see he trains really hard. He's always in incredible shape, and easy with the camera as well, so wish him all the best.
Yeah, comes to town and trains with Billy Hussein as well, does some work out of there, which is, I think, a really good place for him. He seems to really focus when he comes to Sydney. So
some really good fights coming out of the Billy Hussein gym. Some really exciting stuff down there. So look, with that as well, the PBA card, that can be seen online at www.epicenter.tv. It's only $10 for the stream, so really accessible, as we've seen, not like a pay-per-view for $40 on main event or anything like that. So what are your thoughts on that? Do you think it makes it more accessible, and is that the way forward for people that don't have the sports packages?
Yeah, I think it probably is. Ideally, it'd be on free-to-air television prime time, but boxing is not probably just there at the moment. I know there are those Channel 9 shows that are coming up. Some really good fights that look to be in there as well, which is fantastic. I'm not sure about the standard of the coverage that we're getting, unfortunately, but even so, great fights, and that's what's really important. So with this, it's streaming, and then they're hoping to get on Fox Sports eventually. I know this card will be on Fox on delay at another time, and then later on, ideally, they're live on Fox Sports as well. So that's the hope, and they're trying to put a really professional commentary team and presentation together, which is very important. We see around the world the standard of some of the broadcasts are outstanding, and some are terrible, and you can really tell the difference. And we want to be class.
Absolutely, and we've seen free-to-air TV in the States has really taken off with Premier Boxing Champions. And, they've put a lot of money behind how they present that. And
they have, and they hit and miss a little bit as well. Some of them are fantastic, and we saw the ESPN card yesterday, which I think probably missed more than it hit with some of it, some of the broadcast stuff they were trying to do. But they're having a crack. Teddy Atlas is not my cup of tea, but he's certainly a different style. And they threw Rosie Perez on there as well.
I found that a bit weird, especially when they went a bit more personal.
Very awkward, wasn't it? Yeah, amazingly awkward. We're trying not to do that this weekend.
So I like Teddy before the fight, so you're only seeing that the breakdown. My commentary can get...
Maybe we'll look at doing that. We've got Daniel Geale, Nigel Benn and Carly Meehan, so if you want some analysis on fights, we'll certainly have it covered, with those
Definitely,
blokes.
Great panel. Can't remember anything like that in Australia really with 3 people like that.
No, certainly not nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned Geale. Geale's obviously going to be there, someone you know very well. I know you flew over to New York with him for the Cotto fight.
Yeah.
Talk us through how was that? How was going out there? What was the atmosphere like before the fight? And obviously disappointing in the weight issue was there and surrounding it, but
it was a funny one. Like, I've been overseas with Daniel a few times now, and it felt very relaxed. And whether that relaxation came from the fact that because of the weight he wasn't up for the fight, I don't know. I felt that he was beforehand, and he seemed really good. He was really slick warming up, and it all seemed good, but it did turn out that the weight had really knocked him about. Losing that extra 3 pounds and just getting to middleweight at the moment, too hard for him. So he's going to go to super middleweight now, but obviously it was disappointing against one of the greatest of all time. So what are you going to do?
And a rejuvenated Cotto as well.
Rejuvenated again, and just looking so good at the moment. So it was tough for Daniel, but the plans now, and I'm sure you're going to ask, he's going to super middleweight. They're looking for a domestic opponent first. Couple of exciting names. I'd really like to see Sakio Bika fight Daniel Geale. I think that would be a great fight. They've sparred so many rounds. There's a chance it could happen. They've just got to weigh up what it means for each fighter, because it's pretty much a loser leaves the country sort of a fight, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think he'd probably take that fight. I mean, he's fought Cotto and Geale in the last.
Well, neither of them are going to dodge
him. So he's if he's taking those fights, I think he'll take much. And I think as well, with Geale, 2 losses in the last year against 2 of the greatest at the moment. So it's not really
everyone's going to lose to those 2 guys, particularly Golovkin. And he's met them both at the exact wrong moment. He'll have his domestic fight, then he'll look to do something in the super middleweight division. There's opportunities in the UK, very strong UK in super middleweights, and also in Germany as well. And he's been there twice before. He's a big name in Germany, so maybe he goes back there and tries to do the impossible for a 3rd time, because he's been there and won twice already.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you mentioned Bika there. I suppose elsewhere in Australia at super middleweight, you've got Blake Caparella could fight there. Jake Carr, who potentially might be on this PBA card at the weekend. Chevalier and Singh, obviously, and Geale will be there ringside to see them.
Zach Dunn's got the IBO
Zach Dunn, before the weekend. So some really good.
Who apparently got offered a fight with Peter Quillin on reasonably short notice, but they've decided not to take that fight. I don't know. I don't know the exact reasons they decided not to, but obviously felt he wouldn't have had enough preparation. But I think September 6th is the date, so something that you'd think you'd jump at, but they've obviously got their reasons.
Free-to-air TV in America.
Great opportunity. Tough fight. Very tough fight, but we'll see.
Well, a tough fight in the shape of Geale might come and give him more exposure domestically than I suppose a Quillin fight would. So you're maybe looking down that route, but certainly some really interesting options there. And then you mentioned the UK, and I think Daniel's got a good following there. And I always followed him before I moved out here.
And they owe him because they stole his world title.
We'll agree to disagree
against Darren Barker.
So you've got James DeGale, George Groves, even Callum Smith, who's I think the WBC have got him 2nd or 3rd at the moment.
Martin Murray now as well.
Martin Murray. So anyone out of those, if you could have your pick, you'd have any time soon?
I think Martin Murray, he would probably end up. I think there's a chance that fight will happen. It just sort of depends on what happens between now and when they look overseas with Daniel. But they're certainly looking for Martin Murray to step up. He's had, I think, 1 or maybe 2 super middleweight fights against sort of lower ranked opponents. That'd be a great fight. They've talked about it before. Martin Murray's talked about fighting just every Australian boxer there's ever been. He was signed to fight Garth Wood, and that got canned, and he was close to the Geale fight as well. He's been talked to a couple of others, I think. But that'd be a good fight. But any of the others, James DeGale, I think is a winnable fight for Daniel Geale as well. He's a classy boxer, but so is Daniel, and we are yet to see obviously what he takes with him when he puts on the extra weight.
I see. Because I think the last maybe it's the last couple of years, some of that power's maybe gone from Geale. And
we'd have to say it has.
You can see in the Golovkin fight, he wasn't worried by that, and that was what allowed him to sort of walk him down.
I think the peril of analysing anything that happens in a Gennady Golovkin fight is that he's not human. Daniel Geale hit him with the flush perfect punch, and he didn't even notice, and then stopped Geale with this in the same second. But certainly in the Jared Fletcher fight, we saw that either Daniel's power wasn't effective or his killer instinct wasn't there, because that was a fight there to stop. I spoke with him about it afterwards. I spoke with him about it afterwards, and perhaps it was more that Jared Fletcher's such a nice guy and Daniel didn't want to stop him.
So they've sparred together for years.
They're very good friends, So
Okay. Well, look, I think those are some great fights out there, and you mentioned Murray, and I think both of them would take that fight in a heartbeat. Again, he's the same as Geale. Takes any fight that's put in front of him. So.
Yeah, and he's with Eddie Hearn now as well, and Eddie's obviously interested in Daniel Geale as he has been for years since the Barker fight and whatever went on there. But we'll see. That would be a good fight.
And then further down the line with Geale as well. I mean, so they're moving further away from each other at the moment, but there's always the possibility of Mundine. Third fight there.
Yeah, they won all. Both. Well, the first one very close fight. The second one Daniel pretty clearly won, but Anthony disputed it as he was wont to do. It would be I'd be interested to see it. I'd be interested to see Anthony Mundine, Daniel Geale again. I'd be very interested to see Anthony Mundine, Danny Green, which I think is more likely to happen. Geale, Mundine, perhaps. I don't know, but. Even there, you've got a query on the weight. Where are they going to meet in between? And I don't know that the appetite in Australia is as dramatic as it is for Green Mundine, whereby the weight doesn't matter because people want to see that fight so badly.
I think that they carry their celebrity outside of the sport, don't they?
They do, yeah. And Green's gone to another level with that in that regard in recent times as well with his one punch stuff and all that. Yeah. And he's sort of created such an enemy in Anthony Mundine that there really is that us and them mentality from everyone in that fight. And it'd be really good. I hope we do see that. I think we probably will. We'll see Danny Green back in action on August 19 on main event as well against Tamas Kovacs, a fight which he should win quite easily, I think. But still, we have to see what Danny Green is like. 42, I think.
Yeah, he's been out of the ring for a while.
He's been out of the ring for quite a long time, So we'll see how he comes back. He'll fight at 86 kilos though. Whereas Anthony's still looking for a fight. He's trying to bring an opponent to Melbourne for his next fight now that the negotiations overseas seem to have fallen through with Demetrius Andrade and those types. Who's fighting at 69.5 kilos? So there's a lot of difference there.
And it was the difference in weight that made a big difference in the first fight, didn't it? You could see Green was drained, so he might not want to give so much away, but he is the one campaigning for the fight. So something's got to give.
Something's got to give. It's just how low he can get in terms of weight. I've asked him before, and he said he definitely can't get below 80 kilos. But I don't know what happens. Yeah. You'd think it's something they set a way off. Give themselves as many fights as they want. Anthony's obviously off to try and get back to America. I hope he does. I'd love to see him back over to the States and to succeed over there because I think his career deserves to have international success.
Yeah. And he's been knocking on that door for a while. He's had so many fallouts.
Yeah. So now they're in the position where they're trying to get a top 15 ranked WBC opponent to come out here to fight in Melbourne. It would have been great if he could have gone overseas and had the Austin Trout fight or the Andrade fight or any of those. But we'll have to just see what happens with Anthony. They're really trying.
That's it. And Green's obviously campaigning for that. So I think you probably will see that at some point, maybe in a few years' time. The numbers for that fight, pay-per-view numbers, still eclipse Mayweather Pacquiao out here. Yeah. So I think it was an amazing
event. You were obviously still in the UK, but it was incredible. An outdoor event, an outdoor boxing event. I know, and this was before the corporate bookmakers came in. The Tab, they wrote some incredible amount of tickets on that event. Everyone was punting over it. Everyone went to it. Everyone watched it. It was huge, and if they do it again, it'll be not as big, but it'll certainly be very big.
Definitely. And then another big fight. You mentioned the Channel 9 card earlier on. Lucas Browne's got his fight against Gonzalo Basile, the tough Argentinian.
The battle of the tattoos.
Heavily tattooed pair there. Yeah. So that's a keep warm fight for Lucas. While he waits for the WBA situation to be resolved.
It's a weird situation he's in with the WBA, where he's waiting for Ruslan Shagayev to be forced to meet him, which is after his next fight. So strange, but
probably heard this about 6-7 months ago at the same time, and
probably the most frustrated boxer in the world at the moment, Lucas Browne.
I would imagine so, especially when you see the WBA moved quickly on other issues and not quite so much this one. I mean, the Corolla Perez fight last week or 10 days ago had minor controversy with the decision. Within a few days they'd all reordered the match and rematches on the way. Lucas has been waiting well over a year now.
And I guess that comes down to whether Ricky Hatton has been able to do everything for Lucas. I know Lucas is frustrated with those sorts of things, with those elements, and that's probably Ricky's domain. He should really be getting him into these positions a lot quicker, and maybe maybe there is an issue there. I know he's tied it in with Ricky for quite a long time, and I don't know Ricky Hatton's promotional style all that well, but I know of him as a bloke and as a fighter, he's one of the greatest of all time. So, I guess we give him the benefit of the doubt. But gee, Lucas Browne, he needs his chance soon. They were talking about him fighting Deontay Wilder. That fight's not going to happen now. I think he's even blocked him on Twitter now.
Apparently Wilder's offered the fight to Hughie Fury.
Okay, well there you go.
So, this morning anyway.
Well, I think I'd rather fight Hughie Fury than Lucas Browne too, if I were him.
Absolutely. So, fingers crossed for Lucas. Like, we hope that situation gets resolved at some point. His shot is going to come. It's just a matter of.
He might be a good opponent down the track for Joseph Parker as well if it continues in the vein of his career. We saw him knock out Bowie Tupou the other day, who's probably a declining fighter, but he's now going to fight Carly Mee in October 15. That's about to be announced, which is very exciting. I think that's a great fight. Carly is he's been around. He's a tough opponent. He's not going to fall over.
Yeah, I've seen Carly sparring with Leah Pye and a few of the guys recently, and for say someone's been around for that long, he's so hungry still.
And 6'5" as well. So it's going to be an interesting fight, that one. I'm really looking forward to that. Watching Joseph Parker and the way that they've been managing him over there, they're doing such a great job, Duco. They made him a superstar in just whatever it is, 11 fights or whatever he's had. They're doing the same with Jeff Horn as well, who I really like the look of. He had another win on a cut the other night. And is hoping to come out and fight in Australia in the not too distant future. I know that they're calling out Mundine, like everyone is, everyone always does. I don't think that will probably happen. There's talk of $1 million. I don't know if it actually is $1 million, but it would be exciting to see what happens next with Jeff Horn, because he's an exciting fighter.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the domestic division in general, if we're including New Zealand in that, is really, is really hotting up. We've seen some great cards over there recently. With the Super 8 that Carly was in, and that kind of brought him back to the front. So there's definitely a lot happening in Australia and New Zealand, and fingers crossed we'll continue to see.
You've got that funny ring announcer over there, though. He carries on a bit. The American fella. They're strange cards to watch, but gee, there's some good fights on them.
So you're just trying to get your name in the hat for the next card.
I'm definitely available. I've no doubt I have hit them up at some point, but I'm available for everyone.
Perfect. Just we'll wrap it up very soon, but I know there's a few fights out there that you're really excited about. Staying on the domestic scene before we move on to those, you've got Joel Brunker against Josh Warrington coming up. A massive fight for both involved, really. Joel's been campaigning around for a little while longer, but Warrington's just kind of blown up in the UK and selling out arenas and stadiums and going crazy from out there. What are your thoughts on Joel's chances in that fight?
It's a tough fight, but he's another guy who trains very hard. He's always giving 100%. He's dedicated. He obviously went over there and fell short previously, but I think they're all winnable fights for Joel, and I wish him the very best, because he's a really nice fella and he deserves to go well. So we wait and see, but tough fights. He's going to find himself in a lot of tough fights. He doesn't mind that. He's good to go.
That's it. That's what they're there for. And as I say, I know a few fights that you're excited about, particularly Golovkin and Lemieux.
That's an amazing fight. Gennady Golovkin, we spoke about him with regards to Daniel Geale. He's the best fighter to watch in the world probably at the moment. Maybe a couple of lighter guys, Román González and Inui, the Japanese fighter, are right up there. But he's just cutting people in half. And Lemieux is doing the same thing. His fight with Hassan N'Dam was an incredible fight, and I know Hassan. I wanted him to win the fight, but
and he's a very durable guy.
Yeah, it's tough. The Cameroonian, like Sakio Bika, they're not. He wasn't going to fall over. He was getting knocked down and getting back up. But Lemieux, if he catches Golovkin, like we spoke about, Geale couldn't trouble him with his power, but if he catches Golovkin, that just changes the dynamic of that fight, and he gets hit Golovkin, he just doesn't get hurt. So if this guy can hurt him, then it's going to be a completely different fight, and I'd love to see that. I'd love to see him get caught early, Golovkin, and see how he responds. I think he'll win the fight, but we'd like to see him in some different territory.
It's not going to be a chess match, though.
No, it's not unless they're hitting each other over the head with a chessboard.
and the winner of that fight potentially pegged to fight the winner of Cotto and Canelo.
Potentially.
I'd like to think that will happen. Whether or not it will, we'll see. But that's another great fight. Another fight where we're seeing two of the best in the world go up against each other, which maybe we wouldn't have seen 12 months ago. Showing the changing views, I suppose, towards taking these hard fights and risking the loss to take the big fight,
which is great. And maybe it's something to do with the UFC influence, where boxing is sort of deciding that records aren't as important as making a name for yourself and being involved in great fights. Well, a lot of fighters are. Floyd Mayweather obviously is not in that school of thought, but Canelo, Cotto, incredible fight. I think I lean towards Canelo, but we saw with Cotto against Daniel Geale, you just never know, and he's punching so savagely at the moment as well. But yeah, I think Canelo, he's just got everything. We've only seen him lose once, and it was obviously the highest profile loss that you could ever imagine against Floyd Mayweather. I was at that fight, and it was a sad night really. He just didn't have anything in that regard. But Cotto is a different kettle of fish, and that's an action fight.
And still very young Canelo as well. I think he was only 21, 22 when he fought Mayweather. So incredible.
That's incredible, isn't it? He's had so many fights.
Starting in Mexico.
Yeah.
And then I suppose we're saying they're not going to be chess matches, those fights, but one fight that definitely will be Rigondeaux and Lomachenko looks set to go ahead at a catch weight with a rehydration clause in the middle as well to make sure that Lomachenko doesn't come in twice the size of him. But that's a really, really exciting fight.
That's an amazing fight. That's a chess match. They're two of the greatest exponents of the art that there are, and to watch them move around. Lomachenko's career is already just amazing, what he's achieved in so few fights and going into a world title fight so early. And Rigondeaux, he is the most avoided boxer in the world because no one can beat him. You just can't touch him. Yeah. He's Floyd Mayweather times 10 defensively is incredible. So I don't know about that fight. I think I lean towards Rigondeaux. I think you probably Lomachenko, but just because I don't see him getting hit by anyone. I know how good the other guy is, but how are you going to hit him?
Yeah, I've swayed both ways with this one. I think the judges might side with the aggression of Lomachenko, but I don't know. I mean, if anyone can hit Rigondeaux, it's him. So,
true.
We'll have to wait and see. But only 19 professional fights between them in those two. So incredible.
And they're going to have to work hard to get their fights from now on, regardless. Because what's the point?
That's it.
You can't beat those guys.
No one wants to fight Rigondeaux. It's relatively low money for losing, basically.
And
after he blew out Daenerys, he's struggled really to get anyone since then.
You talked about the Golovkin fight. I think that's the 17th of October in the US, and on the undercard for that, Román González is fighting as well. He's amazing to watch. If you haven't seen him, if you haven't had the chance, find him and YouTube him. He's my favourite.
And he's another fighter as well that's come kind of out of obscurity in the last 12 months, really, and people really finally sort of cottoned on it. Obviously, on Twitter you see a lot about him, but in terms of the broadcast and things like that, only recently he's become onto HBO's radar and people start talking about him. But Chocolatito definitely someone that's one to watch. But I think we've obviously been talking for quite a while now. And is there anything else coming up that you're excited about? And just next Friday night, everyone needs to get down, weigh in on Friday night at 5:30 in North Sydney.
Weigh in North Sydney Leagues Club, and then Saturday night the fights, a couple of Australian title fights, and I think it's an exciting idea that they're doing, because they're not trying to come in and have the big fights and knock out the other promoters. They're about promoting everyone, and they're happy to have fighters from other promoters on their shows. It's not about names or anything like that. It seems to be that they're just interested in trying to help out Australian boxing through the Australian title, which I think is great, because we need that. We need people to be inclusive and to work together, because the sport is not in the position it should be in Australia, because it's not on television as much as it should be and in the right ways. So if anything can be done, which is what they appear to be doing, to try and help that, then that is definitely a positive thing.
Definitely. You'd like to say, like we've talked about all the way through this, there's so much talent in Australia. If if the promotions can get it right, and if we can get these big cards together, the sport can take off and start challenging in America, in the UK. More world champions from Australia. We want them to get over there and be in a position to win those big fights. We talked about Zach Dunn, how they've decided not to go and fight Peter Quillin. And maybe that is because they've seen what's happened with some of these other guys going and getting knocked back. We want them to be ready when they get over there, and the Australian title being put on a pedestal, maybe that will help that in some regard, because we want them to get over there and win world titles. We want Lucas Browne to be on the big stage and winning. We don't want him to be going over and getting beat. So it's an exciting time in Australian boxing, and people need to get behind it, because it's we've got a lot of good fighters, and we're in a good spot. It's just that not many people know about it. I say the future's bright. Well, it all starts on Friday night. www.epicenter.tv if you want to stream that live. $10. Ben will be hosting alongside Nigel Benn, Daniel Geale, and Carly Meehan. You'll probably see me floating around in the background as well. Thanks a lot for your time, Ben.
Thanks,
we'll catch up with them.
Talk soon.
Cheers, mate.